All right, the Home Minister has reached Srinagar. A high-level meeting is underway. The Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, as you can see those visuals, is also going to be a part of this meeting that's going to decide as to what the next action plan is going to be. We are flashing some important numbers at the bottom of our screen. If you need help and information, please dial those helpline numbers. If you know somebody who is in Kashmir today, you can still dial those numbers and track the whereabouts if you're not able to get through to the people that you know. Let me also rope in at this point in time Commodore Anil Jay Singh into this conversation. Sir, I hope you can hear me, and thank you for joining us.
I can hear you, and thank you very much for having me on your show.
Right. So, obviously, there is a lot to talk about, but there is an undeniable element of the role of Pakistan, which does not need any time to be proven. It's something that's a given when something dastardly and implicit like this happens. In terms of the security progress that has been made in Jammu and Kashmir, what kind of a blow is that to that ambition and that achievement?
Well, you see, firstly, I think, the Kashmiri development model and the success of Kashmir in the last few years, be it in development, be it in tourism, must have been rankling Pakistan for a long time, because that is something they do not want to see happening in that state on the Indian side. So this attack, firstly, will, sort of slow down tourism. It'll probably the aim was to hit the Kashmiri locals where it hurts by damaging the tourist industry. It doesn't matter to Pakistan whether the tourist industry flourishes or not. It will definitely bring about a temporary lull in tourism. Uh, and also, I think a very important element is the visits of Vice President Vance to India and the Prime Minister to Saudi Arabia. Because don't forget, India's engagement with West Asia, which has been gradually improving over the years and has become quite robust now, has always rankled Pakistan. And things like the I2U2 or Saudi Arabia playing an active sort of role in engaging with the countries in the region, with India and the US, setting up of the India, Middle East, European Economic Corridor. All of these things rankle Pakistan because suddenly Pakistan is finding itself out in the cold from the very people who we thought were their allies. The fourth thing I think is the very deep sort of collusion between the deep state in Pakistan, the ISI, and the Pakistani military establishment. Now, this is a very formidable force. And if you read, over the last 20 years about how terrorism grew in Pakistan or who all were in collusion, you realize that this deep state cannot be dismantled so easily. And every time there has been an incident, notwithstanding the fact that Pakistan has always been at the receiving end of the consequences, they have not hesitated to provoke India into retaliating or into doing something which hurts India. It's that old thing of cutting India into 1,000 pieces or whatever that they'd said after the 71 war. So I think it is time for us now to give a very fitting reply. We are a big power. We are a big military power. We are amongst the leading countries in the world now, economically and otherwise. And I don't think we are no longer considered what used to be earlier perceived to be a soft state. So I think we have now reached a stage where we have to hit back hard, but at a time and place of our choosing. And I think nobody in the world will sort of, I'm sure the world will sit up and applaud India for having taken the right actions, because terrorism is becoming so ubiquitous now all over the world, and it's all emanating from similar sources, that I think the world is quite sick of it. And I think anybody who takes a bold stand against it does seem to get the support of other nations around it. So I think India has now reached a stage where we don't really have to worry about what the consequences will be, because we know we are the big power. And I'm surprised that Pakistan, despite what happened in Uri and thereafter Balakot, etc., still continues to follow the same tactics. They've done it through 3 wars. In all of them, they ended up at the receiving end, but that didn't prevent them from still doing a Kargil in 1999. So I think it's time they learned a lesson, a befitting lesson. And as somebody brought out earlier, I think it's not about killing 3 or 4 young lads here and there who have been induced to, pick up a weapon. We have to hit the epicenter of where this is getting funded from, where this is getting built up from, what is the source from which all this is emanating. That is what we need to hit, whatever that might take. Also, we must not forget that, many of the youth in Kashmir. We always
Right. Okay,
suspect
sir.
that
I just
there's
want to, in
local
fact,
support.
tell our audience that these are live visuals coming in from that high-profile meeting. You can see the Home Minister, Mr. Omar Abdullah, Mr. Manoj Sinha, also a part of this meeting. They are, in fact, looking very serious and, in fact, dedicated to finding a solution and, of course, containing the situation as it is today and finding out what kind of a help can be provided to the injured, as well as capture those assailants who are at large at this point in time. Mr. Gunaratna is also with us. Mr. Rohan Gunaratna, this situation is obviously testing India's character. It is testing India's patience as well, something that Pakistan has done in the past as well. But there will be a time when India will pivot, when things will spill out of control. Innocent civilians have been killed in this instance, and that is something that India cannot forego. It is not something that will instill confidence in the rest of the 1.4 billion population of the country if these 20 plus people are not avenged. Mr. Gunaratna, that's for you, sir.
Yes,
Would
it's
you like to answer?
yes, it is an unprecedented terrorist attack. The world continues to be shocked as they are watching the images coming out of Kashmir. What is important for India is to discuss with the international community, with the partners, especially with the United States, because the Vice President of the US just visited India and had a discussion with the Indian leaders of the threat that you face and work together in partnership to counter this threat. So if you look at the Hamas attack on Israel, there is significant support today for Israel to counter a very long-term threat they have faced. So I believe that without overreacting, to plan and prepare for a response after consultation with the international community.
Hmm. General Dwivedi also joins us at this point in time. General Dwivedi, the last time we spoke, the number of dead confirmed was 1, but there is a likelihood that number could go above 20, sir. How do you think India needs to react at this point in time? Obviously, there needs to be some proof gathering as well before Pakistan is attacked, or before Pakistan is accounted for or held accountable in this dastardly attack.
Well, Maneet, I think first and foremost, it's a very serious blow to us as a nation, because we have lost very valuable, innocent lives. And I think India is definitely deeply anguished. And I think we need to take it in two segments or in two timelines. One is immediately we need to get this situation into normalcy. We need to ensure that the perpetrators of this attack are eliminated. And we need to restore confidence among the people, because such a blow has a deep psychological impact. And therefore, I think we need to restore confidence, certain amount of normalcy in the region. But as we talk of long term, Vineet, I was just on your channel only some time back, that we don't take this as a proxy war. It's a proxy war which Pakistan is perpetrating, and it has been going on for about last 3.5 decades. We have, gained certain success, but we have not been able to eliminate this proxy war. And therefore, I feel that in a long-term perspective, we need to take a very holistic look. First and foremost, it has to be a national fight. It is not the fight of security forces alone. It has to be the fight of whole of a nation. The second point is that we need to have a response of both kinetic and non-kinetic. In such an instance, I think the whole global community must be sensitized as to what is the brutality of such an act. And that's what Pakistan must be isolated. And as far as kinetic response is concerned, we don't require anyone's help. We are strong enough to give a befitting reply. All that we need to ensure that our turn into action. And my last point is, see, this war, proxy war, I have had number of multiple tenures and J&Ks in 2000 and even later, that it has to be fought across. You cannot win this war on your own territory. It has to be fought on the line of control. It has to be fought inside. Balakot was just one symbolic, I think, message. But that message needs to be repeated because until we hit the Pakistan army, until we make Pakistan pay exorbitant price and ensure that it's going to be a very heavy price they have to pay. Otherwise, they'll not get the message. So all I can say is right now, we need to restore confidence. We need to save lives. We need to handle the current situation pragmatically and restore confidence among the people. But in the long run, we need to get a policy, once again review the policy and ensure that Pakistan army and Pakistan nation is taken to task because we got to take the fight to the finish. It cannot be left halfway. We need.
All right. Well, NewsX has access to videos from before the attack, the moment when terrorists opened fire. Let's have a look.
यहाँ पर अटैक हुआ आतंकवादियों का, हम लोग बाल बाल बचे हैं, मगर परमात्मा रक्षा करेगा। लोगों का आशीर्वाद, भगवान की कृपा से जरूर बचेंगे हम। यहाँ पर
Right. In fact, I'm going to rope in Commodore Singh once again into this conversation. Commodore Singh, some horrific videos being put on social media. We're picking a few of them where gunshots can be clearly heard. Now, of course, the premise is also being circulated that since these terrorists were on foot, they couldn't have orchestrated this kind of a crime without localized help, sir.
No, I'm sure any such attack across the border would always have some amount of local help. And it's not unusual for this to happen. It's happened earlier also. We know there are sympathizers within India who sympathize with their cause, are always open to providing support. But one must also not forget, and this, a lot of reading on this subject has led me to believe that a lot of young or a lot of youth have been forced into this kind of thing by virtue of threats that their families have received from the terrorists. Things like, we'll take away your sisters if one of your sons doesn't join, if one of you brothers don't join our movement, things like that. So I think we have to look at it in a sort of objective manner and not tar everything with the same brush. Because at the end of the day, after all, Kashmir has been quite a success story in the last few years. And tourism was flourishing. To get 3 crore tourists meant that people had sort of accepted the fact that now Kashmir was a safe place to visit. I was in Pahalgam three months ago. My wife and I had driven down to that place, and it was a haven of peace and very blissful kind of beauty. But for something like this to happen, while it may be a stray attack, it may not be a series of attacks, it may be just one, and we may be able to sort of punish the perpetrators severely, but this will definitely dampen the tourism industry in Kashmir, at least for some time to come, till people again develop the confidence to go back there. And this is something that is not good at all. And therefore, I do not believe that this is an internal sort of internal help has been given in an institutionalized manner. These must be stray elements, sleeper cells like the ambassador mentioned earlier, which are operating, which are latent and which are dormant, and which are always being used for this purpose. After all, even when Pulwama happened, we knew that there was some sort of local support. Otherwise, 300 kgs of RDX could not have been loaded in a car without internal support or support from within the country. So this will happen in all terrorist attacks. Anywhere where terrorism goes across a border, they have support within that country. So I think it is there. Our intelligence has to, try and find these sources, neutralize them in whatever way they can do, prevent recurrence of this. But I don't think it can be completely ruled out till, like I said earlier, till we do not hit the terrorists where it hurts. And that is, dismantle their entire structure, whether it is state-sponsored, non-state sponsored, or part of a state. I think that is a message that has to go out loud and clear, that we've had enough of this. Pulwama was one instance. We did Balakot after that, which was a very successful operation. It quietened everything down. But again, they've hit back. And this is something that Pakistan will keep doing over and over again, because they've done it a number of times in the past. And I don't think they seem to learn any lessons from it. So anything that they feel is anything where they see India taking a leap forward rankles them to an extent where they can resort to any kind of action. Now, I'm sure to carry out such an attack in India when the US Vice President is visiting is not going to do any favor to Pakistan. I'm sure the world will look up and say, even the Americans will say, look, while our Vice President was there, they carried out this brazen attack on civilian tourists, not even on a military establishment, on civilian tourists who were just enjoying a peaceful day out in the hills. So I think this message has to go home loud and clear, that this is it. We draw the line over here, and we will come back and hit you hard at a time and place of our choosing. You just wait for it to happen whenever it does.
All right.
And this will be a message to those internally within the country also who are supporting the cause. When they see the kind of retribution that is wreaked on that country, or those elements which have perpetrated this attack, this will be a loud and clear message to those within the country who are supporting them as well.
My colleague Ajay is also joining us at this point in time to give us the latest updates. Ajay, there is a huddle. The Home Minister is there. Mr. Manoj Sinha is there. The Chief Minister Omar Abdullah could be seen in a somber mood discussing as to what the next steps are going to be on the number of people who are no more, and of course those who are injured and seeking treatment at this point in time. What is the latest information that you can share with us?
Vineet, it's really painful because the number of people, those who have lost their life in this terror attack, that have increased, and that is what our sources are saying, that it has crossed the mark of 2 dozen, means 26 people have lost their life. That is what our sources are saying. But yes, we are waiting for the official figure that what authorities will share. Even sources are saying that some of the foreign tourists, they are also the victim of this terror attack which took place in Pahalgam today, and Home Minister himself have arrived Srinagar. He is at Raj Bhavan. He is chairing a meeting, and definitely tomorrow he is going to Pahalgam as well to review the security situation and the ground situation as well, how things are unfolding, because the terrorists still are alive. They have managed to escape from that location after hitting out at the tourists, those who were basically enjoying their life over there in the beauty of Kashmir. But unfortunately, this attack took place in which a number of tourists have lost their life, and many of them, they are still fighting for the life in the hospital. Army, police and CRPF is on the job to trace these terrorists, those who were responsible for this terror attack. And but yes, security forces are also going to take the supporters of terrorists to the task, because there are input that some overground workers, they might be in this responsible for this attack. They have given shelter to these terrorists. They have given support to them, and police is also trying to identify these supporters as well. Other than that, National Investigation Agency is also going to visit the spot in Pahalgam where this incident has happened. They are going to meet the police, these tourists as well, to get information so that they can investigate it properly, because it is a terror attack which has been planned in Pakistan, and because we have shown the visuals of a rally which was conducted by a Lashkar-e-Toiba commander, who basically was addressing a gathering over there and saying that we will not stop jihad in Kashmir.
Ajay, we'll keep coming back to you at this point in time. Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, former diplomat, is also joining us on the broadcast. Ambassador Sachdev, diplomatically, India was at a two-tier event. The Prime Minister is in Saudi Arabia. The Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, is also in India. It's his last day today. It's obviously very clear, and it's very crystal clear, sir, that this was a well thought out event. This was a well thought out strategic terrorist attack. It aims to disrupt the fabric of India's growth. It aims to tarnish India's civilian balance.
Well, I agree with what other panelists have mentioned. Many of those points are absolutely correct, and one can agree with the need for retaliation, etc. But let me bring in few new points, and I speak objectively. At the same time, I don't want to uh, draw uh, generous conclusions without having uh, evidence. Firstly, there is a pattern to big terrorist attacks in Kashmir, linking them to India's relations with Saudi Arabia. I speak responsibly. Pulwama happened on 14th of February 2019. 19th of February, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia was to pay a state visit to India without going to Pakistan. Now you have Indian Prime Minister returning the visit. Second meeting of the Strategic Partnership Council headed by the two leaders at PM level is taking place. This previously took place when Crown Prince was visiting. Secondly, Pakistani establishment has its own sense of grounds. They've been at the receiving end in Balochistan. They are seen to be weak vis-a-vis Afghans, where Taliban's are ascendant and border, and they, despite they having deep state of Pakistan having brought in Taliban against American opposition, Taliban owe them nothing. They've also been shown to be incompetent, as a number of people involved in Kashmir and elsewhere in India are killed on Pakistani territory. So it's not difficult to imagine they're seething with rage and trying to do something against India to showcase, at least to themselves and to their sympathizers, that they're not so incompetent. They have the capabilities. I don't want to go into anecdotal evidence, etc. Smoking gun has to be found. If you are able to catch hold of the perpetrators, interrogate them, have them confess, that will be very good as a proof for Pakistani involvement. You should also consider people who would like India and Pakistan to come to blows, like they did after Balkot attack.
Which will be.
I don't want. I don't want to. Hello.
Go on, sir.
I don't want to draw hasty conclusions, but you have TTP, Taliban Tehrik-e-Pakistan, who are opposed to Pakistani government and have been perpetrating violence in Pakistan. There would be elements who would like to have India and Pakistan come to blows, or even better, come to a full-fledged conflagration. So we need to get evidence. We need to catch hold of people and then plan the next move. That way, the world community would be standing with us, as it happened after Pulwama. But
Right.
if
So let
we
me
are
just come back to you. We are also being joined by Mr. Sushant Satpathy. He's Prashant Satpathy's brother, the victim of the attack. सुशांत, हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए आपका बहुत धन्यवाद. क्या आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन पा रहे हैं?
बोलिए.
सुशांत, सबसे पहले तो सहानुभूति. जो हुआ आप बता सकते हैं कि अभी स्थिति क्या है और क्या वाकया घटा?
अभी स्थिति तो कुछ भी कनेक्शन नहीं हो पाया. मेरे जो भाई का बीबी है, उनका बच्चे है, वहाँ पर कैसे है, उनका कुछ भी खबर नहीं है. हमारे पास
तो
हमारे पास कोई भी खबर नहीं है. मैं जो 3 बजे फोन आया मेरे माँ को फोन आया. उनका बीबी, उनका छोटा भाई का बीबी फोन किए थे, तुम्हारा भाई को गोली लग गया. मैं उनके साथ, उनका मम्मी का फोन लग के मैं बातचीत किया. वो भी बोले हमें डर लग रहा है, तुम्हारा भाई गुजर गया. इतना ही बात था. और इसके बाद प्रशासन के अधिकारी से मैं गुजारिश कर रहा हूँ, आपके माध्यम से मीडिया तरफ से मैं गुजारिश कर रहा हूँ, मेरे छोटे जो भतीजा है, उनका माँ है, सही सलामत आना चाहिए घर पे. और मेरे भाई का, छोटा भाई का जो मौरा शरीर है, वो भी आना चाहिए सही सलामत. मैं इतना ही सरकार को निवेदन करता हूँ.
सुशांत, मुझे पूरा यकीन है आपकी बात प्रशासन तक ज़रूर पहुंचेगी. क्या आपको इस बात की पुष्टि दी जा चुकी है कि आपके भाई प्रशांत इस हमले में शामिल थे?
मेरे को ये जो न्यूज़ पे जो टोल नंबर चल रहा था, इस नंबर से मैं कांटेक्ट किया. वो बोले प्रशांत सत्पथी नहीं है.
सुशांत, आपके भाई की धर्मपत्नी के साथ अभी कोई बात नहीं हो पाई है?
मेरा नहीं, मेरा भाई का धर्मपत्नी है तो.
हाँ, उनसे आपकी बात हो पाई है क्या?
नहीं, बात हुआ नहीं. जो उस टाइम जो 4 बजे 5 बजे तक हुआ था, उनके बाद कुछ भी कनेक्शन नहीं हो पाया अभी तक.
तो इस समय आपको कोई जानकारी नहीं है कि वो कहाँ हैं और कैसे हैं?
नहीं है. जो प्रशासन, जो तहसीलदार जो है और जो लोकल IAC है, हमारे पास आए थे अभी, और लोकल MLA है, वो भी, उनका साथ ही बातचीत हुआ था. ex-MLA जो भी, वो भी आए थे यहाँ पर.
सुशांत, बहुत मुश्किल घड़ी है, मैं आपका ज़्यादा समय नहीं लूँगा, पर मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि आपकी भाभी और आपका भतीजा सही सलामत हैं.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go back to General Dwivedi and get some reactions from him before we in fact take a short break. General Dwivedi, there is a loud chorus on social media at this point in time. There are hashtags which are in fact being shared by the millions on revenge, on what India is supposed to do now. What do you think strategically is the careful, circumspect step that India needs to consider?
Heart-rending to listen to the near dear ones who have lost their, own brothers and relatives. So I think it's natural that India is anguished, and there's a sense of anger in the nation. But the point is that we need to also pragmatically now see what next. As I keep telling that this has been going on for a very long time. So first and foremost, we need to handle this current situation very, very pragmatically with a cool mind. And secondly, the proofs are not, there are ample proofs are there, because you can pick up a lot of communication. It is not difficult to find out where the needle is pointing, because that proof will come about. But the major action is that once we have gotten over this, what strategically you rightly said we need to do. And strategically we need to actually handle this as a national war, because it's not security forces alone who are going to handle this. This has to be handled at the national level, at the international forum, where we need to get the international community to actually see what Pakistan is doing. As a center of terrorism, that thing has been going on. And secondly, we need to give a very strong kinetic response, because until you hurt Pakistan army, which is the actual main element in Pakistan, and please understand that
Right, sir.
this is Pakistan doctrine. That doctrine of proxy war is the actually written doctrine, and they are implementing the doctrine. So therefore, I think we need to have a very clear
Right.
strategy.
So we're also
at
getting
the
breaking
national
news that U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has also expressed his condolences on the Pahalgam terror attack. His post on X read, "Usha and I extend our condolences to the victims of the devastating terrorist attack in Pahalgam, India. Over the past few days, we have been overcome with the beauty of this country and its people. Our thoughts and prayers are with them as they mourn this horrific attack." All right. Would like to thank all our guests for joining us. We're taking a very short break. We'll continue our coverage right after this very short break.